Here in southern Kentucky, where heaven meets the hillside, there's horseback riding, boating, even the blind. But these activities are simply appetizers to the real entree. Some have called a radical experiment that's been going on in these mountains almost 20 years.
Good job.
We are very focused on diversity.
Barefoot Republic's a place with an audacious idea that racial reconciliation can happen at summer camp. The process is simple. Bring kids and families together from different backgrounds, different races, different ethnicities, in hopes of fostering life-changing relationships. Tommy Rhodes is Barefoot Republic's founder.
Being barefoot is really a spiritual posture, and if all you can see is somebody's feet, you don't know if they're a prince or a pauper.
The camp is a reflection of Tommy's own life experience.
And so I grew up in a Japanese-American family in a small town in Alabama where it's all black and white. And I just felt like I didn't really fit in. And I experienced just a lot of racism, a lot of prejudice. I didn't know how God was going to utilize my story. And just all those experiences he gave me, have kind of applied to this mission today.
The camp is also unabashedly Christian. Tommy says their camp tries to reflect what they believe heaven will eventually look like.
Barefoot's mission, is certainly Christ-centered, and we're very upfront about that. But we're also very upfront about inviting others into it. We feel like the gospel is reconciliation. And so this whole idea of bringing people together from different backgrounds, we feel like that's what Jesus modeled for us.
In August, amidst the pandemic, the Sabre family joined 9 other families for a weekend at Barefoot, a much smaller version of the usual camp.
I am excited to come to Barefoot.
Kayvon is of Persian descent. His wife Annie was born in Taiwan, and they have 3 little girls. Diversity is woven into their life.
We live in a neighborhood that's predominantly Caucasian, and so when I look at my daughter's sort of classroom yearbook photo, for example, and see that every other child is fully Caucasian, I think, wow, my daughter's missing out.
I think there's something really powerful about being taken out of your normal and coming together and meeting someone and hearing their stories.
I have a lot of people that come alongside me and just say, Tommy, I'm so excited about your mission. I've always taught my kids to be colorblind. I just have this pit in my stomach when I hear that. And I'm just thinking, wow, God created us to see color. God actually created the color, and for us not to see and acknowledge our differences, we're missing out on so much of creation. The opportunity we have at Barefoot is to come together and not be colorblind, but just to acknowledge how beautiful this world is that God has given us.
Thomas Rose is Barefoot's Director of Community Relations. He sees this moment as an inflection point.
What's happening right now when we look at George Floyd and incidences like that, Ahmaud Arbery, it breaks my heart that happened first and foremost. I'm glad that we're looking at these situations now the way that we are, because for the first time ever, I believe that everybody's eyes have been open to see that there is an issue. There still is a racial issue in this country.
He says that for too long, churches across America have shrunk away from issues of race.
If we believe what the Bible says, if we believe who Jesus was, then we should be the ones leading the charge when it comes to loving and tearing down the wall of racism. But I feel like we aren't the ones. I feel like we kind of always follow in later. We have to wake up.
When Barefoot started in 2002, one of our biggest challenges was attracting campers that were affluent and that were white. There was a lot of fear associated with sending your kids, to a place where they were going to be in the minority. And we feel like it's just kind of turning the tables upside down a little bit.
It's been great to get to know other families that kind of focus on the same thing that I do.
The Dem Schroeder family have been coming to Barefoot for years. For 14-year-old Molly, a camp regular, this moment in the country has been eye-opening.
So I didn't really recognize that there was a problem until people kind of started speaking out about it. And it's really kind of changed my perspective on what a lot of people go through that I don't see and I don't understand, because I have the privilege of not having to go through all that stuff.
It's heightened our awareness. We could do more. We could do better. It's more than just I'm going to accept you. It's no, I need you, right? I need your perspective to make me better, and vice versa.
For campers, it teaches them that people that may not look like them can actually be really good lifelong friends.
It's campers turned counselors like Megan Davis, who first came to the camp in 2006.
I'm struck when you talk about Barefoot, you clutch your chest as if you're talking about a relative.
Yes, it's very dear to my heart.
She attended Barefoot for 6 years.
So I think what I liked about Barefoot, what I remember from being a camper, is that you're not the majority in the room, right?
She's then carried her experience as a camp counselor into her career. Megan now works at a juvenile hall in Orange County, California, with kids who are incarcerated.
How did your experience at Barefoot Camp influence the woman you would become?
I've always loved working with kids. Barefoot kind of prepared me to know that, like, there's a spectrum of trauma that people experience. There's a spectrum of normalcy that people experience, but there's also always opportunities just to be really present with people and to love them. But when you're actually like showing up and consistent and there for them, it can change their life.
How relevant do you think Barefoot Camp is, can be, will be in this current climate in America, where we're in the midst of this, what many are calling this racial reckoning?
From like being at Barefoot, that I have friends that are of other backgrounds. It helps me understand, like, one, the complexity of everything, but also how do I think about the issues? How do I advocate for people who do not look like me? How do I actually make a difference instead of being someone who's talking about making a difference?
For the families here, this camp can be a model, a society where all faces and all faiths can feel at home.
When I think about a just society, I think about the design for humanity, the design for life, the heaven that many of us look forward to. And I think it's going to look like Barefoot. You're going to have at the same table black and brown and white and really every sort of color under the sun gathering around the table for love.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.